This video demonstrates a sample of the exercises shown in the book Jumping into Plyometrics by Donald Chu. Consult the book for additional exercises and for more information on designing and planning sport-specific training programs. What training technique can help athletes jump farther, leap higher, spring with power, explode off the blocks, rise above their opponents, or just become faster and more powerful? Plyometrics. In this video, you'll learn the basics of a good plyometric training program, and we'll demonstrate exercises from each of the 7 plyometric classifications. We've also enclosed a chart listing specific tests that will help you assess and monitor athletes' progress throughout their training program. Exactly what is plyometrics? It's an anaerobic technique to improve an athlete's power and speed. It does this by training the muscles to reach their maximum strength in as short a time as possible. You may have heard it called jump training. The technique began in Eastern Europe and became internationally recognized in the early 1970s as European athletes became powers in sports like track and field and gymnastics. Because of their success, coaches and athletes around the world began using their techniques to train for sports that required athletes to jump, lift, or throw. In the late 70s and early 80s, those in other sports began to see how this training method could be applied to their own activities. Soon coaches in sports like football and volleyball began to use plyometric drills to enhance their training programs. How does plyometrics work? It's based on the theory that a muscle that is stretched immediately before contracting can produce more force more quickly than one that is simply contracted from a relaxed position. The idea is that muscles are like a spring. The stretch loads the spring and lets it contract faster and more forcefully. This technique has been used by coaches and athletes at almost every skill level to improve athletes' performance. In fact, even children of elementary school age can benefit from plyometric type exercises when done correctly. It is important, however, that athletes younger than 13 focus on basic movement activities and keep the exercises at low intensity. 13 to 16-year-old athletes should work on sport-specific exercises at the low to moderate level. Athletes over 16 can participate in any plyometric activities, as long as they are consistent with the athlete's level of training. As athletes progress in skill, they can gradually increase the intensity of their training. Before you begin using plyometrics in your athletes' training programs, it's important to be sure they're ready. Anyone beginning a plyometric program needs to have a moderate to high level of aerobic fitness. Athletes also should be participating in a good all-around conditioning program before they begin plyometric training. They need a reasonable amount of flexibility. Both static stretching and safe ballistic stretching can contribute significantly to the safety and success of your plyometric program. Strength is crucial to a successful plyometrics program. The more intense plyometric exercises become, the more strength is required. 3 simple tests can help you determine if athletes are ready for plyometric training. The first 2 exercises test lower body strength and power. Begin with a 1-repetition maximum parallel squat. The purpose of this test is to determine the maximum amount of weight the athlete can lift one time doing a back squat. To do the squat, the athlete stands with his back to a barbell that is resting on a rack at shoulder height and lifts the barbell to rest on his shoulders. He bends at the hips and knees until his thighs are parallel to the floor, then returns to the starting position. The athlete should be able to lift at least 75% of his body weight to participate in plyometric training. The second test is a 5-repetition parallel squat at 60% body weight. The athlete performs 5 squats with a barbell, weighted equal to 60% of his body weight. The goal is to do the squats within 5 seconds. To test upper body strength and power, use the hand clap push-up. The athlete begins in the push-up position. He then pushes off the floor with both hands and brings his hands together before returning them to the floor. If the athlete can complete 5 or more push-ups, he is ready to begin upper body plyometric training. If an athlete cannot complete these tests successfully, you know that resistance work is still a major requirement of training, or even a prerequisite to undergoing high-intensity plyometrics. Strength work alone might improve performance if the athlete is deficient in these areas. Other physical tests, such as the 300-yard shuttle, the standing long jump, and the standing vertical jump, will provide a baseline from which to monitor plyometric training. These tests can be used to assess the effectiveness of the plyometric training program and to help guide future program planning. In a later section, we'll outline tests for following an athlete's progress in such specific areas as acceleration or start speed. Tests are best used to monitor an individual's progress, but the results can also be used to provide an overall evaluation of the athlete's skill level. Plyometric training is very versatile. It can be done indoors and out. The most important consideration is that athletes train on an appropriate surface. Make sure there is plenty of space and a yielding surface like wrestling mats, a wooden volleyball or basketball floor, and grass or a synthetic playing field. Never do plyometric training on concrete surfaces. This is a critical safety measure to reduce excessive jarring of the lower extremities and to prevent other injuries from the high forces created when landing. Wearing the right kind of shoes is also very important to prevent injury. For most exercises, a good cross-training shoe is recommended. An advantage of plyometric training is that it requires little equipment. However, the use of equipment can provide variety and promote more interest. Several different types of equipment can be used for plyometric exercises. Most can be constructed easily or bought inexpensively. Let's look first at cones. Plastic cones ranging in height from 8 to 24 inches serve as barriers over which to jump. Boxes are also often used in plyometrics. For most athletes, the boxes should range in height from 6 to 24 inches. Boxes up to 42 inches may be used for elite athletes with a strong weight training background. Many plyometric programs use various other equipment, such as foam barriers and cone and dowel barriers, to add variety to their training. Hurdles are also used in plyometric training, but they should be used only by experienced plyometric exercisers. Their rigid construction can make them hazardous to novices. You can also use stairways, bleachers, and stadium steps in plyometric training, but a word of caution. Inspect these carefully to make sure they are safe for jumping. And remember, concrete steps must not be used for jumping because they are unyielding surfaces and may cause injuries. Medicine balls are very effective tools for upper body exercises and for combining upper and lower body training. Balls should be easy to grip and of varying weights to accommodate those of all strength levels. By incorporating different types of exercises and equipment in workouts, you can provide a stimulus to keep athletes interested while improving their strength and skill. In this section, we'll show examples from the 7 major classifications of plyometric exercises. jumps in place, standing jumps, multiple jumps, box drills, depth jumps, bounding, and medicine ball exercises. The exercises you choose to incorporate into your athlete's training program will depend on their goals, their age, their experience, and their strength. In each classification, the exercises are arranged according to intensity. The lowest intensity exercises rate 1 on the scale, and the highest rate 5. It is important to choose exercises that correspond to athletes' levels of training. Don't attempt too much too soon. As the athletes become stronger and more skilled, you can add new and more difficult exercises to the program. There are a few general guidelines to follow for all plyometric exercises. Feet should be nearly flat in all landings. The ball of the foot may touch first, but the rest of the foot should also make contact. Landing should be reversed quickly. The object is to spend minimal time on the ground. The arm should be raised up and forward rapidly during the liftoff. We'll begin by showing you 3 jumps in place exercises. These drills help build start speed and improve vertical jump. For this jump in place exercise, start on one foot between 2 cones placed 3 to 4 feet apart. Hop from one foot to the other, landing on the right foot next to the right cone, then the left foot next to the left cone. Continue hopping back and forth. This exercise helps increase starting speed and the ability to change direction. It helps build ankle stability and improves ankle reactivity. This exercise is very effective for track and field jumping events, throwing events, and sprints. For this jump in place exercise, begin with the feet spread far apart, front to back. The front leg should be bent 90 degrees at the hip and 90 degrees at the knee. Jump up using the arms to help lift and hold the split squat position. Land in the same position and immediately repeat the jump. Use this exercise for sports like volleyball, soccer, and weightlifting. This drill can improve start speed, prevent groin injuries, and increase acceleration from the ready position. The straight pike jump is the most difficult jump in place exercise and should be performed only by advanced level athletes. To begin, stand with feet shoulder width apart and the body straight. Jump up and bring the legs up together in front of the body. Flexing only at the hips, attempt to touch the toes at the peak of the jump. Return to the starting position and repeat. The straight pike jump helps improve start speed and builds hip flexor strength, vertical jump, and the development of hang time for sports like basketball and diving. Standing jumps is the second category of exercises. They improve many skills such as start speed, change of direction, vertical jump, and horizontal jump. This standing jump exercise requires a mat or a sand pit for landing. Stand in a semi-squat with feet shoulder width apart. Use a big arm swing. Flex the legs and jump forward as far as possible. The standing long jump improves start speed, acceleration, and horizontal jumping ability. It also builds hip extensors and quadriceps and teaches athletes to use their arms to develop speed and power for sports like baseball, softball, swimming, and track and field sprinting and jumping events. For this standing jump, stand with one foot slightly in front of the other. Use 3 steps in a continuous motion to simulate a takeoff. Complete the 3 steps with a quick, quicker, quickest rhythm. Then explode vertically off the last one. Emphasize the action of takeoff and make the motion crisp. Immediately after landing, step right into the next sequence of steps. Continue for 40 meters. Used for improving start speed and vertical jump, the 1-2-3 drill develops rhythm and coordination for the vertical jump and increases total body coordination for track and field jumping events. For this advanced standing jump exercise, place marks 10 yards or meters away on either side of the landing area. Stand in a semi-squat with feet shoulder-width apart. Using a big arm swing, jump forward as far as possible. Upon landing, immediately sprint to one of the 10-meter marks. This exercise builds hip extensors and quadriceps to improve start speed, acceleration, and change of direction. It helps prepare athletes for the lateral movements associated with sports like football, soccer, hockey, and track and field sprinting and jumping events. The next category of exercises is multiple jumps. They are the most versatile of the plyometric exercises. They help athletes improve start speed, acceleration, change of direction, vertical jump, and horizontal jump. For this multiple jump exercise, use tape on the floor to make a hexagon with sides about 24 inches long. Stand in the center of the hexagon with feet shoulder-width apart. Jump across one side of the hexagon and back to the center. Then proceed around each side of the hexagon. This may be done either for a specific number of trips around the hexagon or for total time. The hexagon drill is very useful for sports such as tennis, soccer, and figure skating because it focuses on lateral change of direction skills. It builds the ankle muscles, hip adductors, and hip abductors, and it helps develop the athlete's ability to center the body after a change of direction. To begin this multiple jump exercise, start with 3 cones placed in a line 2 to 3 feet apart. Stand with the feet shoulder-width apart at the end of the line of cones. Jump sideways down the row of cones, landing on both feet. In clearing the last cone, land on the outside foot and push off to change direction. Then jump 2-footed back down the row of cones, sideways. Keep the movement smooth and even, trying not to pause when changing directions. As you build strength, add cones and move them farther apart to increase the difficulty level of the exercise. This exercise is excellent for improving acceleration and lateral change of direction. It also builds musculature of the ankle and the hip abductors and adductors needed in sports with a great deal of lateral movement like tennis, basketball, hockey, and wrestling. Stadium hops are one of the most versatile multiple jump exercises. To begin, stand in a quarter squat at the bottom of the stairs with feet shoulder-width apart. Place hands on the hips or the back of the neck. Jump to the first step and continue up for 10 or more jumps. Thighs should be parallel to the ground on landings. Make landings light and quick. Movement should be continuous up the stairs without pauses. Generally, you should be able to take 2 steps at a time. Stadium hops are the best plyometric exercise for developing the gluteus maximus and quadriceps. They help improve start speed, acceleration, absolute speed, and vertical jump. The stadium hop is a vital exercise for athletes in track and field jumping events, cycling, wrestling, downhill skiing, and weightlifting, and all sports that require hip strength and power for driving movements. The following category of exercises is box drills. They are used to improve acceleration, the ability to change direction quickly, and both horizontal and vertical jumps. Before using box or depth jumps, you need to determine if the athletes are ready for this activity and what height boxes should be used. First, measure the athlete for a standing jump and reach. Then have him do a depth jump from an 18-inch box, trying to attain the same standing jump and reach score. If he is successful, he can move to a higher box. Increase the box height by 6-inch increments and repeat the depth jumps until he fails to reach the standing jump and reach height. This then becomes his maximum height for depth jumps. If an athlete cannot reach the standing jump and reach height from an 18-inch box, the box should be lowered and the athlete should work on strength development. An athlete who cannot rebound from a basic height of 18 inches may not have the musculoskeletal readiness for depth jumping. For this box drill, use a box 6 to 12 inches high. Stand on the ground and place one foot on the box, heel close to the nearest edge. Push off with the foot on top of the box. Try to gain as much height as possible by extending through the entire leg and foot. Land with the same foot on top of the box and push off again. Use a double arm swing for height and balance. Used in sports such as tennis and cycling, this drill builds start speed, acceleration, and endurance by developing ankle and lower leg musculature. It also helps improve the athlete's ability to react quickly. This box drill exercise requires a box 12 inches high, 20 inches wide, and 30 inches deep. Stand at the side of the box with feet shoulder width apart. Jump onto the box, back to the ground on the other side, then back onto the box. Continue to jump across the top of the box for 60 seconds. Changing the amount of time this exercise is performed changes the intensity. Doing the drill for 30 seconds is a level 1 on the intensity scale, while 90 seconds is a level 5. This exercise develops change of direction skills while improving basic anaerobic and muscular endurance. Athletes in sports as varied as football, volleyball, hockey, and downhill skiing benefit from the box drill. For this advanced box drill, start with a row of 3 boxes all the same height. The height chosen is determined by the athlete's skill level. Stand in a deep squat position with feet shoulder width apart at the end of the row of boxes. Jump to the first box, landing softly in a squat position. Maintaining the squat, jump off the box on the other side and immediately onto the next one. Proceed through the rest of the boxes. Keep hands on the hips or behind the head. This exercise is similar to stadium hops in isolating the lower extremities for multiple explosions. Squat jumps help build start speed, acceleration, and vertical jump for sports such as volleyball, wrestling, and weightlifting. The next category of exercises, depth jumps, contains the most intense of the plyometric exercises. They can improve athletes' start speed, change of direction, and vertical jump. Begin this depth jump with 2 boxes of equal height. They should be placed about 2 feet apart for athletes beginning a plyometrics training program. For added difficulty, you can increase the height or the distance between the boxes. Stand on one box facing the second box. Keep the toes close to the front edge and feet shoulder width apart. Step off the box, landing on both feet, and jump onto the second box, landing lightly. The jump from the ground should be as quick as possible. Used to improve start speed and vertical jump for sports such as diving, volleyball, and track and field jumping events, this depth jump helps develop muscles of the lower leg and the quadriceps. It also helps improve reaction time and provides a reference for measuring improvement. This depth jump exercise requires 2 platforms or mats 3 to 4 inches high, placed shoulder width apart, and a box high enough to elevate the feet above the shoulders when you're in a push-up position. Face the floor in a push-up position, feet on the box and hands between the platforms. Push off the ground with the hands and land with one hand on each platform. Remove one hand at a time from the platform and place it in the starting position. For added difficulty, push off the mats with both hands and return to the starting position. A more difficult variation of this exercise is the rebound push-up. Begin in the push-up position and push with the hands and feet to explode upward forcefully. These exercises are excellent for improving power in the muscles of the arms and chest. The incline push-up depth jump and rebound push-up complement the bench press in weightlifting. They are used primarily by gymnasts and athletes in track and field throwing events. For the single leg depth jump, use a box 12 to 18 inches high. Stand on the box, toes close to the edge. Step off the box, landing on one foot, and immediately jump as high as possible, landing on the same foot. Keep the ground contact as short as possible. For added difficulty, jump to a second box after the jump. This is a very advanced drill. It should not be performed by beginners. Used in sports such as soccer, diving, and gymnastics, the single leg depth jump improves start speed and vertical jump. It is more difficult because it isolates the body weight and landing forces to a single leg. The next category is bounding exercises. These exercises can improve acceleration and horizontal jump. Power skipping is a low-intensity bounding exercise. To begin, stand comfortably with both arms extended in front at shoulder height. Move forward in a skipping motion and bring the lead foot up to attempt to touch the hands. Repeat the motion with the opposite leg and continue skipping for the prescribed distance. This exercise is an excellent warm-up activity because it provides total lower extremity involvement. It helps improve acceleration, absolute speed, and leg turnover in running. To begin this bounding exercise, stand with feet apart front to back and bend the front leg 90 degrees. Cycle the legs and jump up and forward. When the back leg comes through, try to touch the buttocks with the foot. Land in the split squat position and immediately do another cycle. Continue for about 30 meters. Each push from the ground has to provide forward propulsion. This exercise is excellent for improving stride frequency and power, as well as acceleration and absolute speed. It emphasizes the work of the adductors, abductors, and hip flexors. This drill works very well for cyclists, wrestlers, baseball, and softball players. To begin the single leg bounding exercise, bound from one foot as far forward as possible, using the other leg and arms to cycle in the air for balance and to increase forward momentum. Advanced athletes should try to touch the heel of the bounding foot to the buttocks with each bound. Continue bounding for about 40 meters. This drill should be performed on both legs for equal strength. Single leg bounding is the most intense form of total lower extremity exercise on one leg. It's a must for speed development and horizontal jumps used in track and field jumping events. The final category is medicine ball exercises. Each of the following drills requires a partner and a medicine ball. Medicine ball exercises are useful in improving throwing ability and upper body strength and endurance. To begin this medicine ball exercise, lie back on the mat with knees bent while your partner stands at your feet. Hold the ball overhead. Keeping your arms extended, pass the ball to your partner. Your partner can back up to require you to throw farther for increased intensity. The pullover pass develops the back and chest muscles used for throwing. It is an excellent exercise for developing power in serving, as in tennis and volleyball, or for any overhead motion, such as throwing overhead passes in basketball or soccer. For the kneeling side throw medicine ball exercise, kneel facing your partner, who is about 3 meters away. Hold the ball to one side with both hands at hip level. Twist your upper body and arms together and throw the ball to your partner. Your partner returns the throw. Continue for a predetermined number of throws. This exercise is used by athletes in track and field throwing events, wrestling, baseball, and softball to develop the oblique abdominal muscles and other trunk musculature. It improves speed and strength in any movements that require trunk rotation. For this medicine ball exercise, you also need a box 12 to 42 inches high and a high object like a basketball goal. Stand on the box, feet in a stable position and toes close to the edge. Step off the box and land on both feet. Explode upward and forward. Extend the arms and catch a pass from your partner. To increase the difficulty level of this exercise, explode up again upon landing and reach for the high object with the medicine ball. For sports like football, basketball, and volleyball, this exercise incorporates lower extremity exercises with coordinated skills requiring hand-eye coordination. These exercises are just a small sample of the many plyometric exercises available. For a more complete list, consult the book Jumping into Plyometrics by Donald Chu. The best way to develop effective programs for your athletes is to test their abilities based on the skill they need to improve. The assessment and progress chart included in the video package shows simple tests that you can use to assess and monitor your athlete's strengths and weaknesses in 5 categories: start speed, acceleration, change of direction, vertical jump, and horizontal jump. Use the tests for the category the athlete wishes to improve, and the results will help you determine the type and number of plyometric exercises to assign. These tests are only a few of the many designed to test specific skills. Test results can indicate an athlete's overall skill level. They can also help you determine the type and direction of the program. In addition, these tests show athletes' present abilities and give baseline data against which to measure their progress at the end of the program. We've shown you examples of each of the 7 different types of plyometric exercises: jumps in place, standing jumps, multiple jumps, box drills, depth jumps, bounding, and medicine ball exercises. Being able to perform the skills shown in this video is only the beginning. Learning the fine points requires further study and a great deal of experimentation. Plyometrics can help improve an athlete's performance in just about any sport. The challenge is to incorporate the information presented here into a program that works best for you and your athletes. As you design your program, remember to emphasize quality, not quantity. You and your athletes will get the best results by working hard and being patient. With the right training program, ordinary athletes can rise to new heights and soar past the competition.